Yeah, this didn't work out as planned. Gotta remove my top hat. I always did like the top hat look from Frosty the Snowman.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Christmas thing. If I'm having a family function, I'll bring it, or if I'm on stage somewhere for a Christmas show, I'll wear it. Yeah, it's a good time. I've been a fan of that hat. Just a cheap Halloween store top hat, and I found a ribbon that I took off of a discount gift bag set thing, the basket with all the random shit, crackers and cheese and shit that nobody really wants to eat. But I took the ribbon off of it. He's doing the one. All right, so what you can't see is Mr. W2 here is getting one nostril at a time on the coffee beans to reset his
doing a full reset.
His olfactory glands here. He's making sure that they're good and reset. So if you hear this sound in the background, that's us shaking the beans.
That's not Saint Nick.
That's not Saint Nick and his fucking reindeer, like ruining your shingles every winter. No, that's us shaking the beans and getting the oils going so we can sniff and try to reset our nose to back to zero so we can do an honest nose on whatever it is that we're going to do the review on. So if you hear that in the background, that's what's going on. But I looked up when I was talking about my hat. I looked up just in time to see him. He's got a finger on one nostril, and he's like nose deep in the fucking in the ramekin here, full of beans. He's like, and I'm like, holy shit! And then he switches. I'm like, wow, this dude is not fucking around. He came to do work.
That's right.
Yeah.
This one's serious business.
This one is serious business. Like, to me, this one is so rare, it's almost not supposed to even exist.
This is a unicorn.
Here in Kansas City.
This is a unicorn.
Yeah, this is a Casey unicorn for
Merry
sure.
Christmas.
Yeah. So before we get into that, what do you say we start this episode?
Let's do it.
Welcome, dear listener, to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Across the table from me is the very merry Mr. W2.
Ho, ho, ho.
What you call me? You dirty sock chucker? You silly lint liquor. All right, so
Family show.
Family. Well, what family doesn't fight and call names and ruin every damn gathering? Well, I would say except for the Duggars, but, well, they've had they've had a lot of problems thanks to one of their kids. But I just brought everything down. So if you want to know more about the Duggars and all their dark secrets, look up Time Suck episode number 374, The Duggars' Dark Secrets. But that's enough. That's another podcast. You listen to that when this one's done. Right now, we have a very special Christmas episode. We just did a selfie video that you'll see up on our socials, telling everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We're wearing our W2 had a Santa hat, and I had my Frosty the Snowman top hat with lights on it that you couldn't see, but whatever. Anyway, check our socials. You'll see it. And thank you for listening on your favorite podcast app of choice, including Samsung and so many more. I'll never forget that. That was the bane of my existence. That's the one reason. Well, not the one reason. I just thought I was saying too many podcast apps, and I was just like, favorite podcast app of choice, because I heard that on another show. It's like a finance and retirement show on KMBZ on Saturday morning. So he said, yeah, thank you for listening on your podcast app of choice. And I'm like, I'm stealing that. Thank you, sir. So that's a wealth management show. You can also listen to that on a podcast if you want. Go to the Odyssey app and just fucking find it if you're interested on all things retirement. Tonight, we are talking about the Weller Antique 107, the purple label.
Yes. Yeah, so this last summer, visiting Buffalo Trace, the day that we were there ended up being a Weller Special Reserve Day.
Which is the green.
That's the green label.
And it's very tasty. You gave me a bottle.
That bottle right there, MSRP on that was, I think, $25 or $30, $28, $30, somewhere in there. But if you can find, around town, it's an allocated whiskey, and it's hit or miss here or there. You're gonna pay at least 60, 80 plus for it.
I was going to say 65, 67.
That is the one Weller that is on Buffalo Trace's daily allocation list. This one does not see that light of day.
No, it doesn't.
I continue to hear great things about it, so it has been a staple on my hunt list for the longest time, and it's on the list with the pessimism that I'm never going to find this.
Yeah.
And I happened to be at Ryman's Liquor in Prairie Village, and talking with those guys. I've been in there a few times and gotten to know them, and they have surprised me a time or two with some great finds. But I'm in there and we're talking, and I don't even remember how we got on the subject, but I mentioned, one of the ones that I'm on the hunt for and 100% expecting to never find it is the Weller Antique 107. And the guy was like, yeah, we just had a Weller 12-year in here. And I'm like, well, that one's on my list too, and I think that one's even harder to find. And so anyway, we just kept talking, and then he kind of excused himself and disappeared, and then he came back.
As business owners do.
Right. And he came back, and I noticed he had a bottle in his hand, and as he approached the counter, he set this beautiful burgundy labeled Weller Antique 107 on the counter. And I was like, would you like this?
Did you check your pulse, your heart rate? Did it move?
I nearly fell
dilate?
over. I nearly fell over. I was just like, holy shit. And the thing I love about the guys at Ryman and the owner and everything that they do down there is they are very adamant and very anti second market markups. So, the Bland's at $250.
Fuck that.
They're not going to do that. That amazing stag that I got it from Ryman, and that I didn't realize it at the time, but I got that for MSRP $54. And I get home and I start researching it all day long online. That's a $300 to $400 bottle.
Insanity.
So just craziness. This Weller Antique 107 on Flavier is a $200 bottle. I got it for $64.
It's like a sewer dick.
I definitely couldn't beat that.
Couldn't beat that. So this this Christmas episode goes with a very thankful shout out to Ryman Liquors.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for not holding this back.
I'm gonna pass this over your way so you can
all right
look at it. And we had good fun with the Weller Special Reserve episode, poking fun at them for putting a screw off thin aluminum metal cap on there. I mean it actually it has the crack of when you crack it, it
splits that little ring at the bottom.
It's a fantastic bourbon, weeded bourbon, and great flavor, just great quality bourbon. They're not changing it for a couple dumb Kansas City guys that are poking fun at them. But, we're poking fun of them. We're also kind of, acknowledging that Jim Beam has the plastic screw-off cap.
Yep.
So, anyway, all that to say, you get to this unicorn that you just do not find and do not run into anywhere locally, and I'm still just awe over it. This absolutely has not only a cork top to it, but that is real cork
Definitely.
in that top to it. As the name says, this is a 107 proof Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Obviously, it's from Kentucky and distilled at Buffalo Trace. Again, MSRP on this is $64. I paid $64, so I think true MSRP is probably a few dollars less than that.
Okay.
But I got it for $64 and was super thrilled at that. I pulled a whole bunch of stuff off of this from there. The name Weller has been around the horn a few times. It all started with Stetzel Weller Distilling Company, which, by the way, the original Stetzel Weller Distilling Company does not exist anymore. But the Blade and Bow bourbon actually occupies that original distillery space.
Okay.
And they have purposely left their moniker on the front entranceway to that, so it still says Stetzel and Weller Distilling Company.
That's really cool about Blade and Bow. Like, not only do they buy the remnants, the barrels that are just left over by, out of business distilleries, they let you know what it was.
Yeah.
Like, they don't erase that history.
Yeah, and the thing is, because they are buying orphan barrels, they don't know...
Orphan barrels, that's what it was.
They don't know the age statement of a lot of them, but they do know that those barrels represent 10, 12, 18-year bourbons. They just can't pinpoint an exact date on there, so they have to put a no-age statement on there.
Yeah.
But so anyway, yeah, the Stetzel Weller Distilling Company was founded in 1935 and closed in 1972, the year before I was born, during the famous whiskey recession. Can't even imagine such a thing.
Yeah, especially now, like the past 5 years or so, 10 years maybe, it's been a whiskey summer.
Yep.
Just
they had a bunch of great brands when they closed, and the formulas and brands were sold off. Today, the W.L. Weller brand is owned by Sazerac out of New Orleans, and the bourbons are distilled at their famous Buffalo Trace distillery, along with a wide array of Sazerac products. The Weller Antique 107 Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey is a Kentucky Straight wheated bourbon, sometimes called Antique 107. That is indeed bottled at 107 proof, 53.5 ABV. That's nearly cask strength, and all the flavors are powerful at that level. Although there is no age statement, the consensus of our experts and the bourbon drinking public is that it clocks in somewhere near 7 years old. As a straight bourbon, it can't have any artificial colors or flavorings, and you just can't get a rich color and smooth finish like that in less time. Makes sense. This does have a great color.
7 years is right there at the beginning of that sweet spot.
Yep.
Right where as far as age goes, where I like my whiskeys.
Bottom line, it is very smooth with a very light spice at a great value point, and makes for an amazing daily dram.
Daily.
I mean, if I had enough bottles in reserve. The experts agree, awarding not one but 2 gold medals in 2019, and one of them a double.
Well, I think that's enough talking. And this has got a medium amber color to it.
Yeah.
I think a warm amber, as your notes say.
I mean, that's just a solid, rich color.
Yeah, and it's solid on the side without really a whole lot of legs. It's just got. Oh, there's the legs. Never mind. I'll shut up. What you getting on the nose?
Definitely some cinnamon. A little bit of spice.
Yep. And there's that wheated.
Yep. I'm pulling a little bit of wheat in there.
I didn't expect it even after it said that it was a weeded bourbon. Still, I didn't expect it.
The vanilla is definitely prominent. I feel like the caramel is somewhat, not necessarily subtle, but it's definitely backseat to the vanilla. And yeah, a little bit of wood in there too. Yeah, that's a great nose.
Did you say cinnamon?
I did. That was like the first thing that I pulled off of it.
Yeah, and you said wood. Are you thinking oak? Yeah, it's got to be oak.
Yeah.
Yeah, oak, and it's like, I don't see it on the notes, but it's some kind of baked something, like a spice bread, a spice cake. So I'm gonna write that down over here on this notepad that nobody's ever gonna see or read, but I just it's there for my own. That's all on the nose. So I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 things on the nose. Yeah. And from what I remember, with the Weller's Reserve, it had it didn't have 5 or 6 things on the nose or even on the palate. But what it did have was a super strong presence. It's like we did a review on one, I want to say last week, where it was the Eagle Rare. It was episodes ago. We had it was several episodes ago now. We did the Eagle Rare, and while it didn't have a lot of different things on the flavor profile, on the palate, they were like way high as far as register. Like, so if it had four things on the flavor profile, they were at like a 8 to 10, like as far as presence goes. So I was expecting this to be kind of like that, because the Weller's Reserve had that going for it, I think. But this, from what they're saying on their notes, there was that it's got a lot of flavors and they're all really strong.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to try this on the palate. How about you?
Let's do it.
Okay. That was quite the ride. I am going to pitch these glasses real quick.
Jesus.
Right? I'm going to pitch these Glencairn whiskey glasses real quick. Just because not only one, I like to try to find something that we have in our affiliate links on in the shop, that we get a little bit of a commission for. Over-explain that too much. This taste, I bet this tastes way different in these whiskey glasses than it does in a like a cocktail glass.
Yep.
Which is how I usually drink mine. I did get a 2-pack of these using the affiliate link on our site.
Oh, in the little gift box?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Actually, I bought 2 of them because I was going to give one away. I don't know if he's listening to this, so I'm not going to tell him that I'm going to send it to him for his or for Christmas. But these, if dear listener, if you go to savortheburn.com/shop and you scroll down to the Glencairn whiskey glasses in the gift box set, and get yourself a couple of these glasses, get yourself one of those box set, those little kits with the 2 glasses in there, and start using it. I think you're going to start noticing things that we keep talking about, because people give us shit. Like, they don't even listen to the podcast. They just give it, you guys one of those kind of people that sit around and be like, this tastes like caramel and this has got a light oakiness. Well, yeah, in the full year, damn near, that we've been trying to get people to listen to this, That's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
And you'd know that, motherfucker, if you listen to it. That said, we can pick up on a lot more of those notes because of these tulip-shaped glasses. It's got to be. You're eating some of those cookies that Miss Katie made for us, aren't you?
Who says whiskey and cookies don't go together?
Somebody said that it's hands on site. Them is fighting words. You're doing the chef's kiss thing
With cookie
with a cookie in hand. So that said, you're missing out. Honestly, you're just missing out if you don't get these glasses or one glass or whatever. And if you don't trust me at my word, go somewhere and find them elsewhere. Just don't even use our affiliate link.
Ask for a pour in a Glencairn.
Yeah, it's going to be a completely different experience. I guarantee you.
Yep.
Do it side by side. Do it in a plastic cup, a red Solo cup. Do it in a cocktail glass, and do it in one of these whiskey glasses. You're going to get 3 different flavors. You're going to get 3 different experiences on the nose, on the palate, and on the finish.
This is beautiful.
It's beautiful in the dram. It's beautiful on the nose. Like after you get a little on the palate and you revisit with the nose, it's beautiful there.
Okay, on the palate, I'm getting
Oak.
a lot of oak, a nice warm spice cake.
Warm spice, yeah.
There's a lot of caramel, waves of caramel.
Waves. It's weird how it dips in and out.
This is in the description that I read earlier. It talks about this being 107 proof, which is near cask strength.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can feel it, but it doesn't.
107 is a hot proof.
Yeah.
This does not drink 107. We have had 90 proofs that are nowhere near as smooth.
They'll ring your bell.
And soft as this. This is
soft is a good way to put that.
This is a nice, gentle Kentucky hug.
Yes, yes, the Kentucky hug.
Thank you for that, Faith and Tim.
Yes, they were good people. I'm looking forward to the next time we have them on.
Oh man, where else to go with this? This is. I'm looking at the notes, and the notes say leather. I'm not sure if I'm picking up any leather on this, but that spice cake is just all over the place.
Oh, it does say spice cake in the notes.
Yeah, I mean I get spice cake fresh out of the oven, still warm and cooling, and you're trying to patiently wait for it to be cool enough to cut into and get a piece, but you can't help yourself, so you just pinch off a little piece of it, and you gotta.
You're like the old man
so hot.
on A Christmas Story. you're talking like you're the old man, like he was with turkey, and how he's just like he's looking around, making sure nobody else is in the kitchen. He's not going to get busted. He reaches in there and he's going to get his hands are shaking because he's so excited. I get that, I do, but you're talking like you're like that with the spice cake.
Man, this is wonderful.
Yeah, and then on the finish, the finish is long with a nice burn of heavy oak and sweetness. That's a perfect way to summarize that right from the website. And if you want to read it, just go to flavier.com and click on the Weller Antique 107. Just type that in the search bar, I'm guessing, and it'll bring it right up. But this is really good, especially for a 107 with the higher proof.
Mm-hmm. And presentation, like we mentioned, this has the real cork stopper on there. Mm-hmm. It is wrapped with a gold kind of a foil on the top of it. Mm-hmm. What I love about this, and I've mentioned it several other times with several other whiskeys, is it's a very recognizable label. They have taken their brand and they've carried it across all of their offerings.
Yeah.
We've had the Special Reserve, now we've had the Antique 107.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with, and I've seen pictures online. I haven't seen it in person, otherwise I would have just broke out the credit card and say, charge it.
Yeah.
They're 12-year. They have a barrel strength. They barrel proof, I think, is what they call it. They have the white label is I always forget.
I've seen
the
that.
CY. It's craft your CYO, craft your own bourbon.
Yeah. How unique is that?
I want to find one of those. That one may be the unicorn of unicorns, but that one, they actually polled the Weller community and said, okay, you tell us what your perfect mash bill would be. And they surveyed and polled all these different people, and then they came back and tallied it all up, and then did a Weller bourbon based off of crowdsourcing and released it as their CYOB.
Super unique, super individual, super rare.
Yeah, and that one's the white label. So the labeling designs on all the Wellers are exactly the same. You have the Weller script font. You've got the W with the script W in the circle above it. Kind of an arched top to it. Weller is the original wheated bourbon, Kentucky wheated bourbon. But they all follow this same branded template.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before with like Redbreast, the Irish whiskey. They do that similar thing where it'll look pretty much the same label.
Yep.
The only thing different is the color, and the bird is doing something different.
I love that because once you hone in on, I like this brand, I like this whiskey, then as you start seeing that exact same bottle but in a different color or in a different, whatever the color is tends to be a very easy and standard differentiation of offerings. And in this case, it's a burgundy maroon color for this Antique 107. Yeah,
it's got
huge fan of that.
It's got plenty of oak on the palate and the finish, but not so much that it's offensive.
Yeah, I am so happy with this. I could not be more pleased with this bottle.
I saw you when you took your first palate. You kind of transcended a little bit, like you stepped away from your body, and then you came back.
There was so much going on that my body took a pause because my mind was just trying to process all the different waves and layers of flavor that was coming in this.
Yeah, and you said the caramel was going in and out, like it was waving in and out, which was really, really kind of wild to experience because like the caramel would step in and let you know it's there, then it would back out. But when it backed out of the spotlight, something else would step in and then in and then out and in and out, and something different would show up. The oakiness or the vanilla.
I mean,
the cinnamon spice cake or whatever.
We're two pulls into this bottle, and my mind is already going, God, start looking for another one.
Get another bottle, and then start cocktailing it.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine the cocktails with this thing? It'd be perfect for a Boulevardier. It'd be perfect for a Manhattan. Probably really good for a old-fashioned.
So we've talked about a few times over the past almost year the idea of, do you mix in a cocktail your higher end bourbons and whiskeys? And I think early on we were kind of both on the same page as no, I don't think I would, or at least I was at least.
Right. It's just so rare.
As time has gone on and as we have gotten in and we've tried these different things, I've kind of changed my thought process on that, and I almost did the other night. I did not, but I see myself here really soon doing a cocktail with that Booker's or that Stag, because first off, you know what,
with Booker's or Stag,
right? early on, my
I
mind,
fold my arms in protest.
not that it needs it, but
Right.
but how is there any ceiling to elevate it any farther? But
You don't know. You don't know unless you try.
But here's where I'm going with that. Early on, my mind was like, I paid $umpteen for that bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting anything in it. Probably not even ice.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But as we've gotten into this and as we've really tried really the spectrum of some of these bourbons, Jim Beam, Booker's.
That's a pretty wide.
Jim Beam.
It wasn't the white label.
Antique 107.
Yeah. You probably
you know-
spit out the white label.
But it has helped remind me, though, we're not in this to collect bottles.
We're not.
We're not in this to find and buy the coveted bottle, the Blantons,
And then shelve
and then
it.
put it on the shelf. And which I will admit, my first bottle of Blantons, when I got down to about that halfway point, I started just like super sipping
ration
it,
it. Yeah.
and trying to ration it down. And I feel like my last two drinks off of it were still great drinks, but I also feel like I started to ration and preserve and save the ending of it so much that it kind of became a detriment to the quality of the bourbon. So where I'm
Yeah.
going with this is I'm not interested in collecting and shelving these sought after higher dollar bottles. I want to enjoy them.
Enjoy 'em.
And so try it in a cocktail? Yeah, sure. Why not?
If you've got it, yeah.
Why not?
Why not? And thanks to Ryman, you have that opportunity to
Yeah.
do so.
Yeah, they're good guys. Yeah, they're great guys, and I've had several great conversations where we've talked about a lot of different bourbons and whiskeys, and I appreciate them taking the time to have those conversations. Those conversations have led to me being able to bring home some bottles that I thought I would never find, and they're not on the shelf. And so, and that's the thing too, is, you go into your local liquor store, and if you're in there just to find a bottle of something, awesome. But sometimes slowing down and taking the time to strike up a conversation and making a friend out of the process yields a little bit
That's
more
everything to me.
than what's on the shelf. So
Yeah, in Raytown, we had a little liquor store called the Whiskey Barrel. The selection wasn't expansive at all. It wasn't that great. However, the woman Connie Maxwell that ran the joint, he's going for a second pour, that ran the place, she was sweet as can be, and if she could order it for you, she absolutely would. And
Yep.
I loved her for that.
that's where you turned me on to that place, and that's where I got my number 9
Oh,
original.
you went there? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. She ordered up a bottle, and I went in there and picked it up, and yeah.
Yeah, so you got to meet her. Yeah, very, very, very special person. I'm like, some people you meet and then they move out of your life, and you really don't think about them that much anymore. And Connie's the kind of person where like you're just happy, even though you don't really talk to her that much anymore. Like once you get to know her, she's one of the kind of people that once you get to know them, like you can't really imagine your life without their light in your world. And she's one of those people. She's salt of the earth, super cool people. Anyway, so that, and if you don't strike up conversations with people in these mom and pop liquor stores, you're missing out.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I've talked about several times on several episodes visiting the new Total Wine. Love that place.
Absolutely.
It's a mecca. It's the
be all end all.
It is the Sam's Club of liquor stores.
Yeah. They got a lot of different stuff.
You're not going to get that type of personal connection and find those individuals. What I loved about the guys at Ryman's is, in our conversation, we started talking about, second market and how that has driven things like this bottle to be the unicorns that they are. They're not out there because the prices are gouged way high. Demand is high, which that's part of it, but the prices on some of these things are just so outrageous. And so we started talking about that, and they were very, very vocal about being so against that because they want to offer the public these things for what they're supposed to be offered for. Because of the demand on something like this 107, they're not putting it out on the shelf.
Yeah.
And that totally makes sense. If you're not there and you don't know what the Antique 107 is, it's not on the shelf, you're not going to miss that it's not on the shelf. But having the conversation and then you start talking about all the Weller offerings or whatever, it opened up a whole different conversation that led to something more than just strolling in and picking up a bottle of whatever you can find at the price point that you're looking for.
Yeah, it probably helped them understand their customer more too.
I mean,
because like, well, this guy is a fan of Weller, and since he's having such a hard time, and we have it, throw him a bone.
They had,
and what a fucking bone this is.
They had a whole lot of other. I mean, they had so many other bottles that were way, way higher priced than this, but they're keeping that in the back, and they're. It's almost like they're waiting for, and I'm not the perfect customer, but they're waiting for the right person,
right customer
to make this available to, the customer that's really looking for this, or something like that. The first time I walked in there, I don't even think we talked about Stag, but in the course of a conversation, the owner was there and he excused himself. And when he came back, walking back out, he's like, "Hey, would you be interested in this?" And in his hand was the Stag bottle that we tried, not that long ago. And just, it's making those connections, and it's finding that the common ground and making a friend with your local store. Back to this Weller. Second pull. As a kid or as an adult, have you ever found yourself taking the lid off of a cake icing container and then just dipping the spoon in there and just going straight at it? I love cake icing.
Okay, yeah. So as an adult, definitely it was Dolly Parton icing. She's got like her own cake mix. And
I had
icing.
no idea.
Oh yeah, we found it I think last year, and so Jennifer snatched it up because she loves Dolly Parton, and really, how could you not love Dolly Parton? She's an American treasure.
Yeah,
so I think every Gen Xer. And before, even boomers, has probably had a crush on her boobs at some point in time. But I snuck in and grabbed a spoonful of the icing out of that container after I baked a cake.
So
as you were saying,
my second nose pull on this, I got just a whole wave of straight vanilla icing.
Wow. Okay.
Like I'm talking Betty Crocker container of icing. You take the plastic cap off, you peel off the aluminum foiled top on there, and you just put the not the regular size spoon. I'm talking about the big tablespoon,
the big fat bastard.
Yep.
I'm serious about what I'm about to do. Spoon.
Nope.
Yeah, I loves me some Betty
Not
Crocker.
that I've done that a time or two, dear listener. But my second nose pull, that's what I'm getting a wave of just that straight vanilla cake icing.
Yeah, I love me some Betty Crocker.
Please don't hesitate to get yourself
Well, I didn't.
a little bit more.
I didn't know. Not my house. You know, I crossed that threshold. I'm here to do no harm.
If it's on the table, my bottle.
I'm gonna take you up. I'm gonna take
Please
you up on
do.
that. God, this is beautiful. It's beautiful on the palate.
And
I'll
it's
take a small pour.
it's interesting because I feel like there's a worthwhile discussion about the color in glass versus color in bottle.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of times, I was actually thinking about that. So a lot of times, a manufacturer will describe it as dark mahogany or mahogany, and I don't see that in the glass.
Yeah.
But since you brought it up, if you hold the bottle up, and depending on where you're holding it up, that's 100% mahogany.
Yeah. It's upstairs at the moment, but think about that Stag bottle.
Yes, that would be mahogany.
In the bottle, super
Was that a straight
dark.
bourbon whiskey?
It was.
Okay.
Yep.
So once again, straight bourbon whiskey is
Straight
no
Kentucky
dyes,
bourbon.
no
Yep.
colors, no nothing. It's just how it comes
That's
out of
just
the barrel.
aged right out of the barrel. Yep.
Just right there. This is really good. Like, and this is what, to me, whiskey's not about a shortcut to get yourself drunk. Depending on the whiskey you buy, absolutely, that's what it could be. Jim Beam White Label, that's what it was for. That's why God put it on this green earth. But, and sometimes that's really just all you're looking for. Your girlfriend broke up with you. Your wife left you. Your dog fucking got hit by a train. You know, your mom's in prison. Your life is a country song. Yeah, you just want the cheap. You want the cheap bourbon, the cheap whiskey, just to fucking numb your life for a little bit, so you can make your way through it. On the flip side of that thick nickel, you've got these. You've got not so top shelf bourbons, but still really delicious bourbons that are just 100% made for sharing the experience with the people that you love and you care about. And this is a fine enough Christmas present to me. Merry Christmas, sir.
I'll cheers that again.
Yes, 3 cheers on this show.
Yeah, very much so. And
So thank you. That's my long-winded way of saying thank you.
and thank you for
Because I really do enjoy spending the time with you on this podcast and sharing this experience with our listeners and with our friends and our family, because they do listen to
Yep.
it sometimes at gunpoint. But we definitely enjoy ourselves, and we enjoy whiskey, we enjoy bourbon and scotch, we enjoy the spirits.
We enjoy the
same
company.
way, because we enjoy the company,
Right.
And we want to share that experience
Yep.
with the people that we love and care about. So, thank you for bringing me into your household and providing me with this experience.
Yep.
You and Miss Katie, you know, with
Yep.
her delightful treats
yeah, she
that I never expect, but I'm always so thankful that they show up because they're always so good.
they had cooled off by the time I brought them down here, but she
That's all right.
she started baking these after we came down here. So these are as fresh as baked cookies as you can get.
So good. Thank you, Miss Katie. If you haven't heard me crunching away, they're so good. So what'd you give this on the nose?
I'm gonna pause right there,
Uh-oh.
and I'm okay with my overall rating, but I was really sad it wasn't just a hair higher.
Okay.
That's how much I loved this.
Okay.
Okay, on the nose,
Did
I
you
gave.
expect to love this that much? Or did
I-
you have any expectations going into it?
Well, And that's one of those weird things, because when you have high hopes, high expectations, a lot of times expectations are not met.
Yeah. It's like meeting your favorite musicians.
Yeah.
If you meet Aaron Lewis and he's just a fucking stick in the mud.
Yeah.
You're like, God damn it.
The movie that you've been waiting all year for,
Yeah.
and you've got it built up. This is the shit. This is it. And then it sucks ass.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, you meet somebody like LeJean Witherspoon from Seven Dust.
Yeah.
And you're like, this dude is cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Yep.
Like, this is the kind of dude I want to be like when I grow up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
such cool.
this Weller's Antique 107 is your LeJean Witherspoon of whiskeys. We should tag him.
True story.
We should isolate that sound bite, whatever that, and then tag him in it and see what he says.
We can do that. That'd be cool if he would respond.
Yeah, and he probably would because he's stupid cool.
So my nose, I gave it a 4.5.
All right. I gave it a 4 1/4.
Okay.
We're ballpark. We're right there.
I ain't mad at you.
How about the palate?
4 3/4.
All right. I bumped it up too. I went to 4.5.
Okay. We're stepping in time with one another.
How about finish?
For me, the finish just carried the palate right on through.
Okay.
So it's 4 3/4.
For me, the finish carried on through. Carried the palate on through. So it was also a 4.5. Bottle presentation?
I gave it a 4.5.
4.5.
Yes.
That's a high mark for a rather simply
I think so.
Designed bottle.
Design and presentation is a big thing to me. That Booker's.
That's the 5.
All day long, and in some worlds a 7.5.
Right, and I would totally agree with that too.
I mean,
you got the box,
it's
you got
above and
the
beyond.
neck cradle, you got a wax seal, you've got this whole experience of opening the thing. It's like
the little card with the whole explanation on there. So the
card,
yeah, it's
like the old man on A Christmas Story with that leg lamp. Fragile.
And then
must be Italian.
You go online and you look at their website and you realize every batch every year has its own story, which then translates down to the artwork that they use for the one of the labels on the bottle. And
were there 4 batches per year, or was
2023 there's 4 batches?
Okay, every year that's different.
2014
Sometimes
was the first year for Booker's, and there were 6 on the first couple of years, and then it went down to 4. The last couple of years have been 4 batches a year. Interestingly enough, completely sidetracking here, but I've dug in a little bit, and so Booker's, which is the bourbon that was started by Booker Noe, Noe, who apprenticed under Carl Beam of the Jim Beam Distillery. Carl Beam also came over when Booker Noe purchased and got his own distillery up and helped him get it set up, helped him get it up and running.
Fully supportive.
And then once he was up and running, he's like, "You're on your own, sink or swim."
Yeah.
Clearly, they swam just fine. But anyway, where I'm going with this though is, so there's Booker's, and then there's also the Little Book.
Yeah.
So Little Book,
cousins, nephews,
and I'm blanking on the first name, but it is the grandson of Booker Noe.
Okay.
It's either Franklin or something like that, but that particular so at some point Booker Noe's grandson got involved with the distillery, and when he became of age or whatever, started producing his own line, which is now known as the Storybook or Little Story, Little Book. Little Book.
And releases it in chapters.
It's released in chapters, but they only do 1 batch a year.
1 a year.
which is why that one's hard to find. And I should not have been surprised, but my boss, who likes to keep 10 bottles of Buffalo Trace and
Eagle Rare
on hand at all times, he has two bottles of the little book in his collection.
Not just one, but two?
Yeah, he has two. He has chapter, I think he said chapter 5 and chapter 3. But yeah, so Booker's is hard to find in itself. The little book is even harder to find, which makes, after learning and reading about it, doing one batch a year, yeah, that's going to be a little bit more exclusive. That one is now on my list of hunt.
Yeah.
bourbons.
Yeah. The impossible finds.
So anyway, all that to say, that Booker's presentation is the pinnacle of it. Has everything. That said, this doesn't come in a box. It doesn't come in a bag. It doesn't come in a wooden box with a plexiglass door on the front of it. It's just a nice, clean. It is a unique bottle. You know, the little warble wave of the neck
Right there on the neck, yeah.
is a very unique to the Weller family.
Absolutely.
I love, like I've already stated, I love the label and the consistency of the brand from offering to offering, differentiating it by color. I'm super excited that they lost the metal screw-off cap and put a real cork stopper on there. I gave it a 4.5.
That was a long road you took me down to get to 4.5.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. I actually enjoy the long way home.
Yeah.
You know, like the old Supertramp song says. I'm a fan of that. That way I can fully immerse myself in the experience, your experience on how you got there.
It's how I got there, right. And that's the thing, too, is I have always, whether it's riding motorcycles, which I love, whether it is songwriting, whether it is art. Art in particular, those who know me know that art is a very important part of my life. To me, what is more important about my art is not how it looks when it's hanging on the wall and it's finished. It's the journey between start and finish, point A and point B. It's everything in between there. You're on your motorcycle. It's not the destination. It is the journey. It's how you got there.
The whole process.
And so, yeah. So when I'm telling this story is because how I arrived at that 4.5, I felt made sense.
You know,
and it was important.
With songwriting, we're both in metal bands. We're actually in the same metal band, one of them. So sometimes the songwriting process lends such a strong experience that you actually enjoyed that more than the actual finished product of the song.
100%.
So that's something that I never would have even, fathomed in my shallow thought process. But like as years go by, I have those songs that are like that. Like I remember the songwriting process either being so fucking difficult, and so it gave me such a challenge. Like a lot of times, I'll get just this handful of riffs that like make no fucking sense, and so it's up to me as the composer / lyric writer songwriter to take all these, lay them out straight, make the skeleton happen, and then bring that back to the band. And so like this is what I have from fucking skull to toenails, toe bones, not nails yet. And so like this is what I have in mind. I'm gonna put simple structure at it, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro, simple structure, right? And And then that's what I call the skeleton. That's what I call the bones laid out. Those are the bones laid out. That's the skeleton. And then it's up to the rest of us collectively to actually put the flesh on this thing and make it breathe.
Right.
So I have those songs that were a complete bitch to lay out straight. And some of them, I love them because they were just so easy to happen.
Yeah.
They came out of the fingertips breathing already. So I totally get that. It's not just the destination, it's the process, it's the journey to get there. So all that said, my total is 8.625, 8 and 5/8.
What was your presentation one more time?
4.
Okay. So what was your total?
8.625 or 8 and 5/8.
Okay. That's a good score.
Mm-hmm. What's yours?
So like I started off saying, and my disclaimer that after I totaled it all up, I was actually hoping it would be a little higher than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Mine came out to 9.25.
And if we went back to the old
and I'm
rating
not mad
style,
at that at all.
If we went back to the old rating style, what would you give it? 9.75? 9.5?
At least 9.5.
At least 9.5.
Yep.
Sometimes it's that bottle presentation that'll fuck our score.
Yep.
But that's part of it. And since we're two different dudes, we have two different perspectives on it. And that's A-okay. I really thought you were going to grab the bottle and go for a third pour.
Oh, don't you think for a second I didn't think about that? No, I was just looking, I had the bottle sitting over by you, and you had the front of the bottle. Mm-hmm. I hadn't really paid a whole lot of attention to the back label.
Yeah, there's some good stuff on that back.
Which has the barcode. It's the exact same shape as the front label, just pared down slightly. Mm-hmm. So you have a little bit smaller Weller circle, and actually now that I'm looking closer at that, both front and back, that is the Weller W with some nice grain wrapping around the circle.
Yeah, the wheat
a little
shafts.
bit of a wheat. It's a wheated bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
not just a wheated.
If you look at it cockeyed, you can almost see the L there too.
Yep. It is the original wheated.
WL Weller.
Yep. The original wheated bourbon. But anyway, yeah, the backside. So yeah, you have a smaller wheat circle with the W in the middle, and then it's got a little bit of a story back here. Some government warnings and
fucking government. I'm glad it's not bottles.
Surgeon General warning. Women should not drink alcohol beverages during pregnancy.
Why not? Those are my favorite.
But it's got, a true whiskey pioneer. W.L. Weller is credited by many for being the first to produce Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey using wheat, which is why they call it the original wheated bourbon. That's pretty cool. Instead of rye in his mash bill, William LaRue Weller's wheated bourbon became so popular that Weller was forced to put a green thumb print on barrels to ensure that customers were receiving the real deal. This 107 proof bourbon whiskey tastes sweet yet bold, with unusual floral notes and hints of vanilla in reverence to the legacy of William LaRue Weller. And I'm reading it like that because they have done a type justification. So what that means is that those that don't know, they have justified the type so that the left and the right edges are completely tapered off in a nice straight line, which means each line of type, the word spacing is slightly different. Mm-hmm. And what that means is I have to turn the bottle as I'm reading it because it's actually curving with the bottle and it's stretched out a little bit. So anyway,
we've done that with other bottles, and it's been a little difficult from time to time.
And my eyes are starting to get a little old.
Well, it happens. It happens.
But
unfortunately, that's this is one of those bourbons where, like, to the tastings we've done, and more specifically this tasting, like, I know I'm right at the threshold of that bourbon borderline, so I can't have any more. Otherwise, I'm just not going to drive home, at least not for a while. And it sucks, but you know, it's not my bottle. It's your bottle. And even though you said if it's on the table, it's mine too, and I do appreciate that.
You know where I live.
I do.
We'll have it again.
I really do hope so, because that is so nice. It's like I've said that, like, I'm at that threshold, or you know, getting close enough to it anyway, to where I would be disrespecting the bottle, the spirit, the whiskey, this bourbon, if I kept going. But I do want to spend more time with it. I would just want to lay on a pillow and say, like, so what are you thinking? Mm-hmm. Are you thinking? What are you thinking? You know, it's like the new relationship. You just want to know everything about them.
Yep. I am looking forward to pouring just a little bit deeper pour on like a Friday or Saturday night, popping on a movie, and then just sitting there and just...
What kind of movie would you watch? If you had to watch a rock documentary or a mockumentary, what would it be?
Does it have to be a mockumentary?
No, I just threw that in because a rock mockumentary, like Spinal Tap.
Oh, yeah.
It's on my list of things that I would definitely watch. But if rock or metal related,
I haven't looked lately. I wonder what streaming services Spinal Tap is on.
Right. What would it be? Just because it's a podcast of rock tales,
right,
and cocktails.
Probably, you know, recently I watched, and I thoroughly loved the Beastie Boys documentary that they did on. That may have been Apple TV, maybe. You know, the MCA is the one that passed away. So the other guys, Mike D.
Yeah, I think Mike D's one of them.
And
Ad Rock.
Yeah, they did basically a night in the history of the Beastie Boys, and they basically walked through their start to finish, and then towards the end of it, paid a great respect to MCA and his contribution and all that. But it was really, really good. It was really also interesting to hear them talk about their early years and all the trials and problems that they had throughout the years, and the turmoil in the band, and that kind of split them up for a while. And also, you know, the songs that everyone thinks of when they think of the Beastie Boys, they really can't stand those songs anymore because of who they had become in that time period.
Okay.
So it just a really, really good. I downloaded it to my iPad before I forget what trip I went on. It was a business trip or something. And so I downloaded it to my iPad and used that for my plane ride, and fantastic. So I don't know if this is the drink that I would do for the Beastie Boys documentary, but sure, why not?
Why not? I like it. Did you happen to notice that when I walked in your house, I was hiding something?
No.
I smuggled something through, and I've had it here next to me this whole time, and now it's on my lap. Have you noticed me?
No, not at all.
Well, since it's a Christmas episode, I wanted to get you something for Christmas.
Well, shit the bed. What the? Come on.
It's something I found.
You can't do that. Oh, man.
You know, I found it at a store a couple of months ago, and I'm like, you know, this is cool.
Damn you.
I mean, it's not super stupid cool, but it's cool enough to where I thought,
you wrapped it in some cats wearing stocking caps and Santa hats.
Yeah,
paper.
yeah.
So
kitty cat. Hang on. Don't do anything.
Man.
Yeah, so I got you a little something. And there's the wrapping paper. It's cats with Christmas hats and stocking caps. So what do you think could be in there?
I have no idea.
All right, well, hopefully you open it and you like it.
All right. Can I open it?
Yeah, open
Or do I
it.
need to-
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Open her on up there.
Thank you, sir.
This is what I was
Dang
getting
it.
at before. You sharing this experience with this bottle here. This Weller's Antique 107 that you just, can't find. But somehow you found it.
All right, so this is a little bit taller than square box. You know what? I'm just gonna
Yeah, rip it on open.
And the outside of the box says, "Call me old-fashioned."
Mm-hmm.
So on the top of this box, I have a kick-ass pair of old-fashioned socks with. Oh man, these socks they are a round cocktail glass with a large cubed ice in there and a cherry on a cocktail pick. And then, the underneath says, "Call me old fashioned." I love them. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath that is a cocktail glass that in a diamond design says, "Call me old fashioned."
Yep, there you go.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You caught me off guard here.
Good. Well, Merry Christmas, sir.
I appreciate you. Yeah, those are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I do love cool socks.
Yeah, I picked those up a couple months ago, and I thought, I hope Wayne likes socks because this is what I'm getting him.
I do.
And socks in a cocktail glass.
I mean,
And they're old fashioned. We always judge a whiskey or a spirit or whatever by the industry standard, so to speak,
Right.
of an old fashioned.
it is the one cocktail that demands the spirit takes center stage.
Absolutely. And that's what we want to do here on
And yeah.
Save the Burn.
Yeah, and if it can stand up in an old fashioned, it's good enough for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So again, thank you.
Yes,
This
sir.
is awesome.
All right, I'm going to open her on up here and see what's what. It's a black box with chrome lettering. Holy shit! You got me a glass flask. How do you pronounce it? Reg proper?
Yep.
Double shot silicone. Sneaky plastic lid. One double shot plastic lid cork liner. 2 extra silicone lid liners. Smooth pour funnel. Gunmetal lid. And a 240 milliliter glass flask. Very cool. Sorry, dear listener, you have to listen to me open things. Man, look at this thing. Metal. It's getting used. I was actually thinking about, you know how Von Payne had their pre-order?
Uh-huh.
Well, they were saying, you buy two bottles of anything, and we ship you a free flask set.
Okay.
I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. I don't want your fucking flask. Like, it's cool. It's
Right.
definitely cool, but it's aluminum. I've got aluminum flasks.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking the only thing that whiskey actually stays in and doesn't go bad in, so I've found, is probably glass.
It's glass. Yep.
It just changes the taste of it for some reason.
I enjoy mine, and yeah, after having a glass flask, I can't go back to a
Well, that's
metal
what they say.
flask,
Once
so-
you go glass, you never go back. That's cool. So I got a couple different lids for it.
and there should be like
a
a
little funnel.
little silicone funnel. Yep,
That is so cool. Thank you.
absolutely.
Very cool.
So now you just got to sit there and think about,
What am I going to put in it?
what do you want to fill it on your way out this evening?
What? I'll have to give that some thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool. What's this little thing?
I think there's like a little packet of like replacement inserts, maybe.
Okay. I'll stick that over here with this. Very cool. This is really, really cool. I'll try to take some pictures of it tonight and stick it
Yeah.
up on, well, not tonight, but posting it. But I'll definitely post it up on socials. This is really cool. This is totally cool. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas. So, any closing thoughts on this Weller Antique 107?
I am a fan. I am in love. I'm gonna have to find myself another one of these bottles.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if I ever come across one, I'm going to find myself a bottle, too.
I'm hoping one of these days to run across the 12-year or the barrel proof or the CYOB
Yeah.
version of it, because I think that would be kind of a badass flight comparison
Yeah.
to do. Is just a special reserve down the
Yeah.
wrist. They're out there.
Yeah.
I
I see people in the whiskey groups. I see them get them.
me finding this solidifies for me that they are out there. We've talked about a couple times the restaurant in Lenexa, the Silo.
Okay, yeah.
They not only had the Weller Antique 107 on their back line, but they had a CYOB on the back line, along with not just the E.H. Taylor small batch, which I have. They also had the E.H. Taylor single barrel variation of that. And they also had Eagle Rare. They also had the Eagle Rare 17 year Blanton's and a bunch of other stuff. So good stuff.
Well, I guess it's time to wrap this Christmas episode.
Let's do it.
So thank you, dear listener, for listening to this Christmas episode, the Happy Holidays episode. Thank you for listening, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all you folks out there, all you ladies, gentlemen, theys, and thems. We are closing in on 1 year. We're a couple months shy. We're closing in on 1 year. Let us know what you might want to hear or see in the second year. Give us a shout. info@savortheburn.com, Jonathan at savortheburn.com, w2@savortheburn.com. Just give us an email that way, or send us a message, a DM, slide in them DMs on any one of our social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just send us a message that way if you want. This Weller Antique 107 was a special review on a special night. So thank you, Mr. W2, for sharing this moment with me. And no matter who you are, where you are, who you're drinking with, and what you're drinking, whether it's Weller Antique 107 or not, always remember, keep on
On burning.